Okay, so we're gonna work on number one, which is 3 radical x plus 3 equals 15. So just like any problem with a variable in it, we are going to combine like terms first, which means we're going to take the 3 from that side. So we have 3 radical x equals 12. We're then going to isolate our variable by dividing both sides by 3, which gives us radical x equals 4. Okay. We can then square both sides and we will have x equals 16. So that's just number one done out. If we have one like number 3, which is x plus 3 equals 5, we're actually going to kind of change the steps up a little bit. We're going to want to square each side first, which gives us x plus 3 equals 25. Okay. After we do that, we treat it just as if we were solving for x, and we get x equals 22. We can also check our answers. So if we did 22 plus 3 into the radical equals 5, we would get 25 equals 5, which we know that the square root of 25 is 5. Now the square root of 25 can also be negative 5, but in order to make to understand our solution, this answer is correct for this problem. We want to take this, let's do another one of those. We'll do number 4, which is 3x plus 4 under the radical equals 4. Okay, I'm going to square both sides, which gives us 3x plus 4 equals 16. Okay, and then we're just solving again for x. X equals 4. So as you can see, we're just simplifying for ourselves by squaring both sides, getting rid of the radical sign, or getting rid of the radical, and then making it an equation we can easily take care of. Where it becomes a little bit more difficult is when we get to problems like number 7, which is x plus 5 to the 2/3 equals 4. So I'm going to explain the so when we have the fractional exponent, to explain this, the top is looks like this. X plus 5 squared. Okay. The 3 is just a third. And when we raise something to a third, it's really just taking the cube root. Okay. But to avoid having to write all this out, we are going to simply multiply each side kind of like this. We're going to raise the x plus 5 to the 2/3 to the 3/2. That helps us cancel out any exponents and leaves us with x plus 5. But since we rose this side to the 3.5, we have to raise this side to the 3.5. Okay, so that gives us 4 to the third and taking the square root. 4 to the third, or 4 cubed, is 64. Taking the square root of that is 8, which gives us x plus 5 equals 8. And then we just solve it as though it's a simple expression, or a variable equation. So x should equal 3 in this problem. Now keep in mind too that the square root of 64 is also negative 8. Okay, so we need to also treat this as that. Okay, so if we minus 5, we get x equals negative 13 as well. The way that we can look at this and then evaluate it is to plug in these values for x to find out if these both actually can be solutions for x. That's what they mean when we're trying to find extraneous solutions. We're trying to find out if the two possibilities for x are actual solutions. So I'm just going to erase this. Okay. And what we're going to do is do 3 plus 5 raised to the 2 over 3 equals 4. 3 plus 5 is 8 raised to the 2/3. Okay, so that's 8 squared, that's 64. Take this cube root of 64, should give us 4 if this is an accurate solution. So the cube root of 64 is actually 4. So we can put a little check and say x can equal 3. For negative 13, if we say that negative 13 plus 5 to the 2/3 equals 4, we will get negative 8 here to the 2/3. Okay. Now negative 8 squared is also 64. Okay, taking the cube root of 64 does give us 4. So we know that x equals 3 and or negative 13. Okay. So this video is getting a little long, but I think I'm going to do one more at least to show you, and then I do have the notes for each problem that I will send over as well. X minus 2 to the 2/3 equals 9. So again, what we're doing is we're taking x minus 2 to the 2/3, raising that to the 3/2, doing the same thing to the other side. Because no matter what, whenever you have an equation, you have to do the same thing to both sides. Okay. So we have x minus 2 equals 9 cubed, 81, 9, gives us 729. Okay. 729 and taking the square root of that. So to make matters easier, we're just going to use a calculator. That actually gives us 27. So we have x minus 2 equals 27. Okay. Plus 2, x equals 29. Now remember, the square root of 729 can also be negative 27. Okay, we add the 2, we get x equals negative 25. We need to do the same thing with checking these solutions to make sure that they actually will work. So if we have 29 minus 2 raised to the 2/3 equals 9. We have 29 minus 2, which gives us 27 raised to the 2/3 equals 9. 27 squared, if we remember, is 729. Taking the cube root should equal 9. Now, if we remember when we did this, 9 times 81, that's 9 cubed. So we can successfully say that 29 is a solution. Okay. We can do the same thing for negative 25 minus 2 to the 2/3 equals 9. Remember, when we're minusing from a negative number, it's just easier to look at it as plus a negative. So negative 25 plus negative 2 gives us negative 27 raised to the 2/3 equals 9. Any negative number squared is still going to be a positive number. We're taking the cube root of that, 9. The cube root of 729, if we remember, is 9. So x can equal negative 25 as well. So I hope this is helpful, and if not, we can definitely schedule a call.